follow-up for that, for the international group, you were brought together and you had to build your team as you go. And how has that helped you through the show, building a family, as it were?
Dustin?
Yeah, we joke off camera that the guys from GH are kind of like the Beatles and we're kind of like the Monkees, which is cool because I got to ride over here with one of them and he was awesome. I didn't tell him that comparison; it'd be kind of awkward. But no, we're really tight. We have a great time out there, and it's one of those things where you just really hope that the people you're going to work with, that the personalities mesh, and we've been very fortunate. And we all have a strong passion for quad biking, which is what we usually do on our days off. And we did that a lot in Africa, and Barry enjoyed covering us all with dirt. That was his favorite thing to do. He just kicked up dirt all over us. But yeah, we hang out, and we hang out off camera and on camera, and no, it's come together very well. So I think we're very lucky.
He never answers your question.
He says you built your family.
I was with him until he went into quad biking.
Well, and you
why did you toss it to me, man? You should have handled the question yourself.
Oh, Tango, I think we should step back. Go.
Anybody who's visited our table in the last 3 days knows that Rob and I had a very fun relationship together. Rob pretty much just disses me the whole time and I have to defend myself. But it's entertaining to him, so I love it.
Guys, thanks for coming and hanging out with us this weekend.
Likewise, thank you.
So here's a weird question for you. My husband actually works in a 90-year-old historic home that, based on events and actual entity sightings, the entire staff believes is haunted. But the only reason no one's ever called anybody like you is because the owner's a little weird and freaky, and he's afraid that you would find something, and that then it would be televised, and that might drop the value of his house. So have you ever had any crazy, freaky owners that when you got there said, no, you can't investigate, or no, I don't want it televised, or really didn't want you to find something?
Well, we do that ahead of time. I mean, we're not going to just show up and be like, hey, can we film this, by the way? I mean, we really make sure we know it's good. But we have had some that we pulled up to. We just had one in Florida, remember that? Oh, yeah. We pull up there and some guy, I don't know, strung out on crack or something, was like, you can't film here. He's like, our neighbors, it's too high-end neighborhood. And we're like, what are you talking about? The house was supposed to be abandoned, and he's like, the people behind me are from Brennan's restaurant, which we know them very well. We can walk over and say, hey, you get, every once in a while you get some, like I said, the people freak you out. It's not the ghosts. But you do get into that. And honestly, to each their own. Maybe that guy is a ghost. I don't know. He sounds old and freaky. Who knows? But you do get some that are wigged out. But we do our homework ahead of time. We're not just going to show up and say, by the way, can we film?
Okay. Now, we always see that you do the investigations at night. Have you ever done any investigations during the day? Because I've had experiences during the middle of the day.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, even in a graveyard, which kind of freaked me out at first.
Oh yeah, of course. We do lots of cases during the day. The reason we do them at night are twofold. I mean, that's the best time to use your IR cameras, which can catch the shadows and the faint lights. So if you have no light on and use IR, it works best. But also, that's a carryover because that's when we would have free time. We've got families and jobs, and that's when you can get over there. And honestly, that's when most people are in their homes after work. So most reports occur between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. So, but the very first episode of Ghost Hunters was investigated during the day with Brenda and her daughter. So we do whatever we got to do.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. Given your phenomenal success and a certain frustration level in watching, this is for both shows. Have you considered helmet mount or just like a forehead mount camera so that
I'm going to make a t-shirt.
Did you see that? No, because I'm holding a camera pointing at the floor right now.
We have considered it. And the problem is, if we had head-mounted cams on, you wouldn't see anything. For the very reason that we have IR light coming from the cameraman, from our setup cameras, and if we added head cams into that, honestly, all you would see is bright white light the whole time. Those are great for shows where you're sending one poor kid down a hallway to wet himself, you know? But it's a valid question, it's a valid idea. We thought about it, and the IR just blows out everything, and you can't see anything. I mean, you wouldn't even be able to see what we were saying because we would blow out the cameras all the time.
Thank you.
No problem.
You guys might not know the answer to this question, but it's in the ghost hunting book. Jason talks about green olives being able to suppress supernatural paranormal activity. Is there any theories behind that on why that works?
Well, to clarify, it's if you believe you're sensitive, supposedly, I'm not sensitive, so I don't know. Supposedly, there are different things you can do. And one of them is just downing a bunch of green olives, I guess, tends to suppress it. Maybe the guy who came up with that sells green olives, I don't know. There is we are looking into doing some studies about the fact that there's so much salt in there, maybe combined with the olive, but I've noticed that when my wife has some kind of, I don't know, abilities, I don't know, but she sure sees a whole lot more and picks up on more than I do. And when she's pregnant, then it turns right off. It doesn't happen. And, you know, I took that and applied it to the whole olive thing, and when you're pregnant, your body retains salt, so I don't know if maybe it has to do with salt. And of course, the old pagan belief, you put a salt circle around, and I don't know, I'm kind of just guessing here, but we got to do some experiments there to figure that out.
I was just wondering how Donna was doing.
Donna's doing great, honestly. Donna has, she has some health issues, and I think, filming a show is really stressful, and especially where your sleep schedule is so messed up. And I think she did a very brave thing, did the right thing, to just take a break. And I saw her like a month ago at TaxCon. She was there, and she looked great. She looked well rested and stress free. That's what I've gotten out of it. What about you guys?
No, Donna's happy, she's doing much better, and I will say that honestly, she really appreciates all the support that people have been sending her and all the well wishes.
Thank you. My question is about EVPs. I know sometimes when you ask the questions, you're more straightforward, like, can you give us a sign, or do you know you're dead, or certain questions like that. Or then sometimes you're more emotional, like you appeal to the emotions more of the spirit maybe. Does one get a better result than the other?
Well, it's tricky because a lot of people, I love watching, we do these events where people come and investigate with us. You put them in the room, they get to record, and they're like, is there anybody here? Can you give us a sign of your presence? Just like, wait a minute, hold on. You're talking to a human being. I've never asked another human if they could give me a sign of their presence. So we always teach people to just speak to them as if they're a human being, because that's what they are. Just, hey, I'm Grant. I'm looking for somebody. I can't see you or hear you. Can you let me know you're here? I stay away from saying, do you know you're dead? Because if I walked up to you right now and said, hey, do you realize that you're dead? It might really mess with your mind. So, honestly, you have to try everything. Usually when we do EVP work, the standard technique is to go in the room, turn on the recorder, tag it, go in the room and just let it record for a little bit. Because you might catch something off guard. And then you do direct questioning. Introduce yourself, try and get some kind of response. And then after that, we just talk amongst ourselves, kind of takes the spotlight off the entity, and you get a lot of responses that way. So I guess it's all a matter of how much oomph you got in you that night. I don't know, but there's no particular technique other than what I just said that really seems to work.